I'd like to open up the Subcommittee on Economic Development. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Chairman Samaras,
Present.
Counsel Leary,
Here.
Counsel Milonazo.
Here.
3 present.
Thank you. Tonight's report is on a report from the Sustainability Council. The Sustainability, I can't even pronounce it at this point, is a council that's very important to what the city is doing. We talk about going green, we talk about the environment, we talk about creating a future for our children. We talk about, how can we save money in this city by the power that we use? There's so many questions that have to be answered. And the Sustainability Commission has done a lot of good work in the past. Of course, it's changed its title. But I'd like to have Jay Mason introduce members of his commission and begin the report. Thank you. Oh, also, I'd like to announce that Councilor Rita Mercier is here and Councilor Corey Belanger is also here.
Thank you, Councilor Samaras. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I would like to introduce myself. My name is Jay Mason. I'm the chair of the Sustainability Council, and we have with us tonight Kathleen Moses from the City DPD. Kathleen is our energy manager. We also have Quinn Lawrence and Christina Rohrabacher from the Sustainability Council. So thank you for your time and for this opportunity. I did want to just quickly go over a summary of where we are. I thought a report of progress essentially would be in order for your information. The Sustainability Council was established in Lowell in 2007, 9 years ago, through a city manager appointed selection process. It actually was an outgrowth of an environmental association that Dave Turcotte started at the University of Massachusetts a few years prior to that. But in 2007, the Green Building Commission was established, and we were charged with promoting building sustainability, green buildings, energy conservation, ways of using technology and using the information that becomes available on a new basis each year to further productivity and efficiency in the way buildings get constructed in the city of Lowell. The Sustainability Council at that time, as the Green Building Commission, established an awards program. That program is still continuing each year. We were originally doing just buildings, and now we have broadened that awards program. And this year we recognized Mill City Grows as a sustainability-oriented organization. It's also open to individuals. So we've really tried to open the opportunities for the city at large to get involved in this worthy program. The mission of the Lowell Sustainability Council now has broadened from just green buildings. The idea is to work with the new conditions that we find ourselves in today, and the mission succinctly is to promote citywide sustainability. The Lowell Sustainability Council engages community stakeholders through education, communication, and collaboration to propose sustainable policies and encourage innovative solutions. And in order to do that, in order to be effective, as a board of volunteers, we've established 3 committees. We have an education committee, a metrics committee, and an outreach committee. The education committee right now is focused on helping with the planning of the high school. The high school is going to be the largest high school project ever taken on, most likely, or at least one of the top, in terms of dollar value, high schools, and the Sustainability Council will be a part of that planning process. The metrics committee is working to wrestle down a structure, working with the DPD and Catherine Moses' organization or department to manage better. We can't manage what we can't measure. And so with a proper metric in place, the city can take advantage of further gains in efficiencies and dollars. When we were established as the Green Building Commission, we were able to help the city become a sustainable community, a green community, through the Green Communities Act. And in that process, we received a grant in the neighborhood of $450,000. So we want to go after these dollar amounts that are out there. We want to take advantage of the tide of technology that's that's requiring more sustainability, and we want to bring that focus and those dollars to the city of Lowell. So that's a little bit about our structure and our organization. We have a summit that's coming up with stakeholders. It'll be our second summit. We are building on the success of last year, and we have a space at the community room, Enterprise Bank's community room on Palmer Street on October 22nd from 10 to 1:30. And there'll be coffee and breakfast items provided at 10, and there'll be a lunch served at noon. So that is something I can talk about if time allows, but I really want to give the time over to the other folks that are here. And I have a letter of support that if time allows, I'd like to get to, if possible. But before any of that, I think it's important to hear from Catherine and see how the city component is working. Our work is nothing if we can't properly coordinate and take advantage of the city structure. And so with the partnership with Energy Manager, I think we've got some great opportunities.
Thank you. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'd just like to thank the members of the subcommittee, and I'd like to thank the Sustainability Council as well. As Energy Manager of the City of Lowell, I've been in this position for 2 years, and it's been really exciting to see all of the great work going on around here. You know, the city, I was very fortunate because I inherited a lot of really great policies that were put in place by the City Council before me. With the $21 million ESCO that you guys did with Amoresco, we're seeing significant savings through that. I actually had done a motion response several months back. We've just had updated numbers for that. And so that saved the city cumulatively since they first started implementing those energy conservation measures about $5.2 million. I was also very fortunate to inherit a structure that helps to promote solar energy and renewable energy through both on-site generation, where you have solar panels on our schools, and also off-site generation, for example, the solar panels on our landfill. And all of those different kinds of things have been able to cumulatively save the city about another $1 million. And so all of those things in general also contribute to our environmental goals. As a green community, we're committed to energy reduction. I'm getting ready to go through the FY16 to see how we're doing versus our baseline, but it looks very promising to have reduced the energy use by 20%. Still vetting the numbers, but if we're not there, we're very, very close. And I think the leadership that the Green Building Commission and now the Sustainability Council has given us also allows us to be in an even better place in the future. I know from what I understand of the history, the Sustainability Council, then the Green Building Commission actually helped to put in place some of the policies that allowed us to be designated as a green community. And as a green community, it shows Lowell's leadership in the area of sustainability and also allows us to have access to grant funding so that we can continue to improve our energy use, continue to save money, continue to save energy, continue to mitigate the effects of climate change. And so I've put together a few slides here. Like I said, about $5.2 million cumulatively on the Amoresco project, about another $1 million in savings on the solar projects. It's prevented, according to the EPA's greenhouse gas equivalency, is about 18,741 metric tons of CO2 equivalents. And the interesting thing is if you look at these savings, it's kind of gone up each progressive year. You know, from where they first started implementing the Amoresco measures, they started putting in the energy efficient lighting, they started putting in the HVAC upgrades, but each year we've been able to realize more and more savings from that, which is really exciting. Also, on the same thing on the solar, we began with the solar panels at our schools, then our wastewater department got some panels, water department got some panels, then we started working with these big developments at the landfill and some off-site kinds of things, and those have been able to realize some significant savings as well. And so I just like to say how grateful I am to be here and grateful to have the leadership of the council and the leadership of the Sustainability Council to continue to move Lowell in the direction we need to go.
No, just a quick question.
It's
through
your
the
good
chair.
work, but thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the second page, there's a significant jump between 11, 12, 13, and 15. What do you attribute that jump from 14 to 15? The
That-
increase in savings?
That's an excellent question. And so basically, that was sort of the build-out period of the ESCO. So the way that they started it, they did a technical energy audit around 2008, 2009, and then they started implementing some measures on the ground. As it got closer to the 2013, 2014 timeframe, that's when more of those things started getting put in place. We actually just finished our 2-year guaranteed savings back in June. So I think they've got all of the build-outs out by about March or so of 2014. And so you'll see big jumps in those last final years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonder if we could now hear from Quinn and Christina?
Thank you.
Thanks for meeting with us. My name's Quinn Lawrence. I've been a commission volunteer for about 2 years now. Moved to Lowell about 3 years ago from Maryland. My wife was originally from here. And I've been really excited working with the Sustainability Council. We're going to have our second annual summit coming up, and so we've been working on a lot of great projects. We've been working with developing a city metrics, which is supposed to give us the indicators on how we're doing in meeting the Lowell Sustainable Lowell 2025 goals. And so that's been one of our big projects. We've done a lot of education and outreach. And and we've been working with other groups around the city, just trying to broaden our connections. And and I think we're looking to, we've talked more about moving into grant writing, which I think could be something that could be really good for the economic development of the city, if we could play a role in that, researching grants, helping write them. Make proposals that could help with economic development, especially sustainability, potentially in the green jobs area. And so I think that's been something that we've gotten a little excited about recently, and something we'll be discussing at the upcoming summit. So Jay asked me when he asked us to speak, what brought us to the Sustainability Council. And the first thing was, of course, climate change. I would say is the concern that motivates us in joining the LSC. And I would say, secondly, it's about sort of how you present your city and marketing. If people think of Lowell as a sustainability-focused city, they're more likely to come and support the businesses, maybe even buy a home here. So it's not just good for the environment and climate change and things like that. I think it's good if people associate Lowell with sustainability. It's good for us as a city, as business owners or homeowners. It's just good all around, I think. So those are the two motivations I had and incentives for joining the council. And I've really enjoyed being on it. And thanks again for inviting us here tonight to meet and talk with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely want to echo that. My name is Christina. Thank you so much for having us here. When I graduated from UMass Lowell in 2013, I didn't leave Lowell because I love this city. I was born in Tewksbury, raised there, but I think this is an incredible city, and I've experienced a lot of inclusion in many different aspects of my life here. And I think it's really important for us to move forward with mitigating climate change at the city level. And I think that having this opportunity to do that is really incredible. And I think that we're at this really amazing point in time where, more and more people are starting to talk about climate change. as something that's normal and something that we frankly just have to start dealing with. And I think the more easily we allow, making those changes into our lives, the more easily we'll be able to mitigate climate change. I think that our second annual Sustainability Summit is our opportunity to really bring together these stakeholders in the city that also care about this, but also care about other types of sustainability issues like social and economic. My ability to, kind of marry my love of kind of doing this work at the city level as well as activism work is really incredible. And I hope that some of you can be at the Sustainability Summit on the 22nd.
The location again?
Jay, what's the?
18 Palmer Street, right at the community, the Enterprise Bank's community room, right across from the coffee mill, second floor.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No. Thank you. The thing is, what the information you're giving us about helping to deal with climate change, but with Catherine's report, talk about tremendous savings in the city. This is very important. I mean, many people do watch these programs, and the one thing we want to be able to show our constituents what we are trying to do in the city and the reasons for it, and that's important. Councilor Milazzo, who I should talk a little bit about his background.
Oh, God. I was joking with the chairman earlier. I was the first energy conservation manager in the city back in the planning and development days back in 1978.
They were using wooden
That's
sticks
right,
at the time.
that's right. Back in 1978, we had a school side representative, the principal of the Washington School, so it was Mr. Byrne and myself for a couple of years. But I really enjoyed the work that we did back in the early days, and I want to wish Kathleen well in the position. In my job that I have now at the Riviera Housing Authority, we actually just entered into a contract with a Haverhill solar farm. You're probably familiar with it. And we got together with 3 other housing authorities, and we're actually net metering. It's going to go online next September. And it's just very exciting to look at the work that all we had to do basically was sign our names. There was no out-of-pocket expense for the housing authority. And the first year, it's estimated that just our housing authority will save about $400,000 in energy-related costs. So again, it really is where the rubber meets the road from the standpoint of saving. So, and prior to my going back to the housing authority, working at the credit union, and we built a couple of buildings here in the city. Jay's familiar with them, and they're award-winning green buildings. And I just think it's so important to have someone in the planning and development office to work with developers as they come in. For instance, the new student housing being built where Lowell 5 Cent Savings Bank and the work that Lowell General Hospital has done, and being very conscientious about building green. And I think that the Sustainability Council, as well as the Planning and Development Office, has really got the word out that Lowell wants to go in that direction. And I think from the standpoint of economic development, the subcommittee actually shows how if you build green and do it correctly, you'll be able to save money in the long run. And maybe instead of building, I don't know, pick a number, 200,000 square foot building, you might be able to stretch it to a 225,000 square foot building because you're able to realize those savings, which would then generate additional debt service for the property. So this is all good, very important relative to climate change. Obviously, the University of Massachusetts at Lowell is doing a lot of great work in that arena as well. But I think that as we continue to expand Lowell from just a building footprint, it's just so important to have meetings like this, as the chairman said, to make sure that people know that you all are here doing good work and making sure that developers, as they come into the city, will work from the city manager's office, the planning and development office, the building department, in order to get good sound advice going forward. So I enjoyed my days 38 years ago as the energy conservation manager, and I, again, wish Kathleen well.
But, here working on the Council for Economic Development, I mean, to see the enthusiasm that you have for the city and what you're trying to do, I mean, you become agents to helping us sell the city of Lowell, because it is the city on the right path. Councilor Mercia, do you have any questions? Do you want to? Okay, thank you.
Thrilled that everybody's on the same page to help us save money and preserve energy. This is great. Thank you so much.
No. I mean, if the TV audience didn't pick up, Councilor Mercia talked about the importance of being able to save money. No, being able to save money, with what we're doing, going green at the same way, making the city work. Go ahead, Councilor.
Councilor Samaras, I wonder if I could, in the vein of talking about businesses that are interested and attracted to working here in Lowell, I'd like to read a letter of support, if I could. This is from an architect who moved here from the New York, New Jersey area, had quite a bit of experience working through Hurricane Sandy. They still have contracts in the area doing the important repair work that storm requires. And he goes on to say, to Chairman Milanazzo, this is from Andrew Kohler. He's an architect in town. Company is called Fused Studios. I'm a local architect that relocated my business from New York, New Jersey last year. I'd like to share with you the rationale for bringing my team to Massachusetts, the potential for economic growth within this region, and the value I foresee in working with the Lowell Sustainability Council. In 2012, Superstorm Sandy demonstrated the reality of intensified conditions that accompany a changing climate, along with revealing the extent to which most municipalities and social networks are unprepared. He goes on to talk about the millions of dollars in damages to private properties and infrastructure, and that the work is ongoing. And he talks about the 500-year flood that happens now with so much more frequency. We've had in Lowell 2 500-year floods in the last 10 years. So the numbers are upside down, and we are hoping that, we can make this work economically, because we can't make this work just because it feels good and just because, we're attracted to do something that's positive. We have to make the numbers work, and we understand that. So he goes on, he says, to achieve results, we must improve how we prepare, how we invest resources, and then, when the time arises, how we respond during a crisis. The Sustainable Lowell 2025 Master Plan is a good start in identifying the challenges and goals of the City of Lowell. Emergency planning operations must be holistic. They need to consider flood events, high-speed winds, periods of drought or heavy snow, among many other things. My firm came to Massachusetts because we saw cities like Boston that survived Sandy primarily because of the timing. We want to be part of helping communities in a progressive place like Massachusetts to fortify themselves and be prepared. He goes on to talk about the economics of the preparations of sustainability. He mentions the Multi-Hazard Mitigation Council for over 10 years, presenting a simple rule of thumb that for every dollar spent in mitigation strategies, there's $4 saved from what would otherwise be spent post-event. The Lowell Sustainability Council is well posed to work with the city government to prioritize, refine, and expand upon items addressed in the master plan. There's an integrated social network, which is also something that we're trying to do through the outreach committee, whereby local groups, businesses, residents, and government are better informed and know how to work together. We have people in the community that care passionately about its growth and development. As a small business owner, I recognize the good that will come from helping communities like this one to better prepare for the change that a shifting climate will bring. I offer my support to the Lowell Sustainability Council and encourage the Council Subcommittee on Economic Development to do the same in order to continue bolstering a stronger and more attractive Lowell for our residents and for the business community. I think that's the kind of person we're trying to attract here, and I think that's the direction that I think we're seeing some success with.
Thank you, Jay. Councilor Larry.
Just quickly, no, I think, what you said really at the end of the day, Jay, is it comes down to some economics as well. And I think articulating that message and reaching out and educating folks that that's equally important, I think is going to lead to a lot of success and grabbing in areas where you ordinarily would not, and they would be jumping on board. The Amorisco, when I was on the school committee, just amazing. Not only is it aesthetically pleasing what they've done to different places like the Riley School, but the savings is extraordinary. And I think that's a very positive thing for the city as a whole. And I really want to thank you for taking the time to come out today and really begin then and continue that education process. A lot of folks do listen to the cable TV access when the council meets. And I think this is a positive area to say we're not only positive for the environment, but if you don't get into that, you don't dig that, we're really good in saving your tax dollars too. And also, we're going to try to look at it in terms of being aggressive and really make it an economic viable option. So it really marries like both, and I'm very impressed with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Mr. Mason?
No, I'd just like to really echo the goals of our summit, which is coming up. And if I could, if I have a minute, I'll just briefly give you a rundown on how that is going to operate. We've invited a variety of stakeholders, from community groups to government officials to neighborhood groups and folks that have been involved in the Sustainability Council in the past. And we will put this together. We'll start the program with a keynote from Paul Marion. Now, Paul was here when we started the national park. Paul was here as part of the Heritage Partnership. So from a community standpoint, I'm really excited to hear what he has to say about the excitement and opportunity that the community has at the grassroots and at the municipal level. I think there's a lot of great potential. We also have a number of folks coming from the university. We're going to have Giovanni Baez, planner from the DPD department, who acts as our liaison, to speak and talk about, well, where is Lowell now? What are we doing to take better advantage of sustainability initiatives, and how are we positioned structurally and policy-wise to move forward with these things? So after these reports and these presentations, we'll move into a workshop phase. So we'll have a 50-minute phase where there will be 5 tables set up, and each table will represent 1 or 2 of the goal areas from the master plan. There'll be 10 people at each table, and we'll have a facilitator. For example, Rosemary Noon is going to facilitate the discussion of, just excuse me for a second, I'll get the name right. Sustained public engagement is one of the goal areas in the master plan. Now, that's vitally important if we're going to be able to reach out and connect with people that may not understand the implications and some of the opportunities with what we're trying to do. So we'll have 4 other tables, one on resiliency, one on sustainable neighborhoods and housing choice. We have a couple of young individuals from the Coalition for Better Acre going to be facilitating at that table. We have Mill City Grows coming to help facilitate at the resiliency table. So I think there's going to be an ample opportunity, perhaps maybe too much opportunity, to look at some of the things, the challenges and opportunities facing us, and we'll need to whittle those down. So round 2 is a report back. Each table presents a kind of uptake on what they discussed and what they think might be something that's workable going forward. And the whole group will hear that. Each table will go back in a second round and talk about initiatives moving forward, and then there'll be a final presentation of those. So concrete, actionable, and specific measurable actions is what we hope to come out of this. We don't want to have, we don't want people patting themselves on the back. We want progress. We want to build off of the master plan, which we have, and we want to make it stronger, more actionable, and more effective.
On behalf of the council, I want to thank you for the information you've provided tonight. Yes, Councilman Milano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if it would be an order, but I think the committee should go on record. So I'd like to make a motion to reinforce our support for the initiatives undertaken by the Sustainability Council. And the chairman will report that back out to the full council later this evening. So I'd like to put that in the form of a motion to
Second.
restate our support for the council.
Second.
Thank you.
I guess if I could just add one thing to that, Councilor Milanazzo, I would say that the Sustainability Council will be looking to build on this summit, taking maybe 2 or 3 of the top objectives that come out of the process, and we'll be taking those back to DPD and working with those. And if at some point there's resources that can be committed, either working with a staff person who can help work with perhaps an intern from the university to pull some more data together. Just a very
Makes
quick
sense.
example. We're working on the Merrimack River right now, and there's a huge interest in a mayor's conference that the city of Lowell might initiate the first pass. And, those kinds of things take time. Organizational effort is tough to do for a volunteer board, but if we have some ability to bring in support, I think some of these things can be broadened, and we can leverage them into more exciting and doable things.
Thank you. Okay. Motion, I need a motion to adjourn? I'm sorry, roll call on the motion.
Chairman Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
3 yeas.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.